Hi there. I'm going to go through a few problems for solving algebraic equations by multiplying or dividing. And these are also called one-step equations. And I'm not feeling too hot, so if you watched my last video, I kind of explained that, but I'm just going to go through a few examples, a few more examples of how to do the multiplying and dividing steps, which are super easy. If you know your multiplication and division facts, you should be good to go on these. And I'll explain exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, so the goal is still to get the variable by itself. Remember, variable is the letter. And you're trying to figure out what value makes the equation true, okay? And you can do these mentally, but it's a really good idea to get in the habit of showing your work because it is going to get more complicated as you move through algebra. This is just first of many steps. So let's go ahead and try a few of these. Okay, so first problem is this. Okay, this problem is asking me 2 times what number is equal to 16. Okay, so a few notes before I try to solve this. Okay, so let's write that down first. Okay, this is asking 2 times what number equals 16. Okay, and you should be able to do that in your head, again, if you know your multiplication facts. When two things are stuck together like this, so stuck together means multiply. So if you don't have that down, that's important, okay? So if you have two things stuck together, means you're multiplying them. And I obviously don't mean like 2 and 3, that would be 23. But a variable and a number stuck together, multiply them together. Okay, so in order to solve, okay, you have to undo the operation. And when you see ones that look like this, I just told you that means multiply. So we have to do the opposite operation to solve it, okay? So we're going to use the opposite operation. Baron is saying hello again, if you can't hear him barking in the background. Okay, so let me switch the page and let's actually solve 2x equals 16 by showing work, and then I'll show you what the check piece looks like also. Okay, again, 2x equals 16, you should know is 8, right? 2 times 8 is equal to 16. So these are kind of like little puzzles, but again, showing your work is the hardest part on these, and checking your work takes a little bit extra time, but totally worth it in the end. It's going to save you so much time and hassle when you get to more complicated problems. Okay, so to solve this, 2 times x, so we need to divide. And whatever you do to one side of the equation, you got to do to the other. So we want to get the variable by itself. We're dividing by 2, not by 16. 16 is happy. He's over here by himself, away from the x. So we're going to divide both sides by 2. And 2 divided by 2 is 1, so those just cancel. X comes down, equal sign comes down. And then we solve this piece. So this piece gets solved in your head. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. Circle your answer. And then the check piece looks like this. Write down the original problem. Substitute. And we're substituting 8 because when you solve this, you said x has to be 8 to make this true. So we're double checking to make sure it's true on this side. So we do this operation in our head. So So 2 times 8, 16. And then you just bring down the equals 16. And you checked to make sure that it is a balanced equation. It is true. Okay, next one. 3x equals 27. Show your work. Divide by 3. Cancel these out. X is equal to 9. Okay, then check your work. 3x equals 27. 3 times 9 equals 27. Actually solve this, which is 27. 3 times 9 is 27, which is equal to 27. That is true. Okay, let's do one that's backwards. 15 equals 3x. So this means the exact same thing. It's just written in different order. It doesn't make a difference at all. That it's written on the right side instead of the left. You just need to make sure you're going through it slow enough and not dividing by 15, because again, 15 is happy. And we're not learning any weird fractions for the most part. Most of these are nice whole number answers. And again, I'm creating this video mainly for my 6th graders. They have not learned integers yet, so you're not going to see any negative values in any of this video. I will make I'll make more videos in the future for one-step equations. Solving algebraic equations is the new way to say it. But they're one-step equations because you're taking one step to solve them. But I'll make more in the future for integers. Okay, anyways, back to this problem. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So I have x is equal to 5. Okay, and then my check piece. I'm going to write the original problem. I'm going to substitute. I'm actually going to solve this, and that does equal 15. Okay, now let's do a few that are solved by multiplication. But again, I teach this by solving with a proportion. So if I have x is divided by 2, and that is equal to 6. This is asking me what number do I divide by 2 and I get 6, which hopefully everyone knows that's 12. But good way to show your work. Rather than having to multiply both sides by 2, which is the old way that we used to do things, it's better and it sets yourself up better for future math when we're dealing with proportions and things like that. If you're already exposed to proportions now, so set this up as a proportion, which just means that I set it up as a fraction equal to a fraction. So I'm just going to bring this piece down and I'm going to set 6 over 1 because it's a whole number. Whole numbers always go over 1. And then you cross multiply here and here in order to solve this. Okay, so I have x times 1, which is just going to be x, or 1x, means the same thing, and 2 times 6, which is 12. Okay, so that is how I teach it in my class. So if you're watching this as a parent, understand that that is the easiest way for them to remember. The reciprocal idea is super confusing for a middle schooler, especially a 6th grader. And they really seem to have caught on and clung to the proportion idea. And again, it will help them as we do proportions and percent proportions later on in the year. It'll help them to understand what a proportion means if we start working with those now. So that's the way I teach it. All right, and then again, these can be checked also. You write the original problem. 6. Substitute. This is a 6, not a B, sorry. 12, and then we're actually going to solve this piece. So you actually do this piece in your head. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So that checks. Okay. Let's do another one. 7 equals x divided by 5. Okay. Same type of problem, it's just flip-flopped. So again, rewrite 7 over 1. And then we're going to cross multiply here. And this one's asking me what number can I divide by 5 and get 7. So this is 1 times x, which is x. 7 times 5, which is 35. Okay. And again, should be able to do this mentally, but this is a great way to show your work, which is required in my class and will be required in most classes as you move through math. Okay, this is, whoa, that is not the problem, Mrs. Cosgrove. Let's try that again. I flipped that on you. Very important that the problem has to match, the original problem has to match. Okay, so substitute, I'm gonna do it, I guess I'll just work right underneath it here. So this is going to be 35. Okay, and then it needs to equal 7. So I'm going to actually do this problem in my head. 35 divided by 5, which is 7, which is just a basic math skill. We should all know our multiplication and division rules. Okay, I'm going to do 2 more, and then we're going to call it good. And again, hopefully I'm not going too fast on you here. I'm just trying to get a few more examples out there for the weekend. All right, so if I have 10 is equal to x divided by 6, I reset that as 10 over 1 equals x over 6. I'm going to cross multiply, and I get x is equal to 10 times 6, which is 60. Check my work. So 10 is equal to 60 divided by 6. So 10 is equal to 60 divided by 6. 6 goes into 6 once. Okay, there's nothing left, and this 0 has to be used, so it moves up. So 10 equals 10 is true. All right, last one for today. I have x divided by 10 equals 40. So this is going to be rewritten as x divided by 10 equals 40 over 1. Cross multiply. I have x is equal to 10 times 40, which is 400, right? It's just 1 times 4, which is 4. And then you add the zeros. So this is my answer. I can check it. X divided by 10 equals 40. Substitute 400 in place of x, and I can do my division here. I can do 400 divided by 10, but also know that you can divide by 10 easily. You just cross off the zeros. So anytime you have zeros, you can just cross them off like that. You have to have matching zeros to do that though. But every time you have a 0 on top and on bottom, you can cross them off. You're dividing by 10, which makes the work over here easier. You might even be able to see what the answer is on this one, right? Because you're actually simplifying it. But I'll do the work here just to show. Okay, so I have 10 goes into 40 4 times. That 4 needs to go over the 0 again, not over the 4, because if it goes over the 4, that means 10 goes into 4 times. Goes into 40, which is 40. Nothing left. This 0 moves up. So 40 is equal to 40. Okay. I hope that helps. I know that was a little fast, but again, the goal was just to get a few more examples out there for my class. So just keep practicing. The more you practice, the better you're going to get at it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care.